There we go.
Look at that, it's working.
It is. Hey guys, Justin Etherton here with Etherton Real Estate Keller Williams. I've got my fabulous lender Austin Lamson here with OnQ Financial.
Hey guys.
And we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about a couple different items. One, how often you get to negotiate when you're in a transaction, right? Which is great for a seller's point of view and a buyer's point of view, meaning you need to know when you're negotiating. Now, if you're a buyer, obviously you may negotiate 20 times on 20 different properties, but I'm talking about with one property, it's the one property, plan on negotiating at least 2 times in the negotiation. So if you're a seller, listen closely. I would say it's very, very important to get a home inspection, a pest inspection, and any other items done ahead of time in the inspection, and then correct some of those that are easily correctable. And so what this does is it negates any of the negotiating power from the buyer coming in, because you've fixed the items or at least made them aware of it before they wrote an offer. So at least they can't come back and say, well, I didn't know about this, and neither did you, and say, no, we told you about this 10 days ago, and you should have put that into your price of your offer. So it really helps you stop the second round negotiation. So now on the reverse side, when you're purchasing a property, you really need to consider, hey, let's work on getting them down as best as we can in price, and then if something major comes up, definitely ask them for it. That's your second opportunity to negotiate for it. Right? Sometimes it could be a sewer lateral that's not working, or that there's a belly under it, and so it could potentially back up later in the future, and you want that corrected, or at least get a credit on it, right? And so that's where I brought Austin in here to talk about the credits, because we have to be very careful about how much credit you get and how you work the credits, because unless you're paying cash, you can only have a very limited amount of credit going towards it that will be allowable by the lender. So, yep. Austin.
So great segue. So it's called an interested party contribution, an IPC, and these are in every single type of loan. There's a certain limits that they allow. Now, typically that limit is going to be for recurring and non-recurring closing costs. So that means property taxes that you're paying up front, interest, the escrow fees, the loan fees, anything that has to do with the actual purchasing of the property. Non-recurring costs are ones that are one-time event. Recurring costs are your recurring costs of home ownership. So again, that interest, the property taxes, insurance, things of that nature. And there's different limitations that are allowed per the loan program, as well as how much you're putting down. So the less money you put down, the less credit you're allowed to get. Now, we are fortunate here with most of our price points that because they're in percentages based on the sales price, you're not going to probably hit that limit, but you're still only going to be limited to the recurring and non-recurring closing costs. And the reason that it's such a big deal is that it's considered that interested party contribution. It's an enticement to purchase the property. It's considered, hey, buy this property even though we know that there may be something not wrong with it, but maybe needing some updating, and we're going to give you X amount of cash. So, and I also think Justin is really good that he pointed out that there's 2 times, and this happens in the contingency period. Wouldn't you say it happens mainly when you're getting these inspections done?
Absolutely. When you've already released your contingency, you really have as a buyer, you really have no leverage to go back to the seller and say, hey, I want more money. Very rarely. Now, if something happened where it was unknown or unforeseen or a surprise, that yeah, there's an opportunity to go back. However, normally 90% of the time, if you say, well, I've released everything, but I want $5,000 more off, the seller may say, forget it, not happening. Not going to happen. So definitely during your contingency period, and that's why we work closely with our lender here to figure out what's going on, how long they have to do it, as well as your physical contingency. And also we work closely with them because we want to know what limit that is, because if it's a $10,000 credit for some sewer work that needs to be done, that because there's blocking, there's roots in it, and there's a belly under the house, meaning the sewer line goes down and back up and might have a clog at some point. Well, you want that to be able to be fixed.
Right.
But the lender may say, well, you can only have non-recurring and recurring up to $5,000. What do you do then? Well, then we need to work creatively on that and say, well, let's reduce the price by at least $5,000 instead of a credit, and then get the rest in a credit, right? So we want to make sure we're getting your negotiated amount in the negotiations, right? And because if you go over the $5,000 limit, and don't negotiate the other part of it to be with a price reduction, technically you lose out on that. Because if you're paid that, if they try to say, well, we'll pay that outside of escrow, that's actually fraud. That's defrauding the lender and can be costly in jail time or very heavy fines. So that's not something you want to do. No. We want you to get your every penny that you've negotiated correctly and in escrow. So talk to an expert so we can make sure we're protecting you in those time periods. And another fact about that, we have to negotiate. We can't negotiate these one day before escrow with a loan, because you need to disclose those price reductions and credits to the buyers in the HUD statements and the
closing disclosure.
Thank you. The closing disclosures.
Yeah.
So those are the items. If you have any questions, give us a call. And Austin is at
805-335-8200.
And I'm Justin at 805-617-0774. Thank you guys, and really appreciate you watching this.
Have a great day.
Bye.